Okay, so today we are going to talk about one of the greatest son that India has ever produced. We are going to talk about Mr. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, the great Iron Man of India. And why we are talking about him? 2 days back, that is 15th of December, it was his 72nd death anniversary. And there were many articles, a lot of headlines were published, a lot of editorials were published, defining his contribution. And of course, remembering such great leaders at appropriate time is absolutely necessary because, the way Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel has contributed not just towards the nation building, but also his contribution is unparalleled when it comes to belief system, the way he has contributed inculcating value system in our new generation, and rightly he's called the Iron Man of India, the way he has actually contributed towards unification of our country. And why we're talking about him and why I'm making this video is because of the fact that in our civil service examination, that is GS paper 4, there is a particular part of the syllabus which reads that we have to read about the contributions of moral thinkers and philosophers. And in GS paper 4, where they actually test your apprehension, they test your value system, your morals and all that. Definitely there is so much that we can learn from the life of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, and I almost read like 7 to 8 articles about him, and based on that I would like to say a few words about him. And I'm sure in this video you guys will got to know a lot of facts about him, and definitely you can use them in your GS paper 4. Now we all know that Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, he was absolutely great, statesman he is known for, and he was undoubtedly a great patriot. He was a amazing administrator, and it will not be wrong if we say he's probably the utmost, the epitome of loyalty. The way he has served the nation, the way he served the country is unparalleled. He is always known for his fearless approach, the way he approached towards the thing. And of course, today whatever political map that we see on Indian soil, the way we have our nation today is all because of this great personality. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel is known as the Iron Man of India. The way he consolidated, the way he united the country, it was some 561 provinces and princely states when Britishers left India, and he has unified the entire nation. But very lesser known fact, and as a UPSC civil servants, we must know that Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel is also known as the patron saint of Indian civil services. The contemporary, the modern day All India services is all because of his contribution. So if somebody says, what's his contribution towards All India services, he is the person responsible for establishing the contemporary All India services. All India services, your IAS, IS, IFS, all these kind of services. And there are so many ethical values that we can learn from his life, ethical values in terms of his political beliefs. What were his political views is very important for us to know. See, today India is the largest democracy in the world, and when it comes to Sardar Patel, he was a great champion. He was a great champion of fundamental rights and liberty. He really believed in these kind of systems. He was admirer. He was a staunch follower of equality and rights. Sardar Patel has always said that for the purpose of full development, a complete development of an individual or a nation, it is utmost important that we should always have the values, fundamental rights and liberties. He always, advocated for these kind of values. Other than these value inculcation, he was a kind of leader who always stood up against the exploitation. We have seen the way he has stood up against the exploitation, be it exploitative revenue policy of the British government, or whenever there was any kind of maladministration done by the princely states, wherever there is exploitation, Sardar Patel has always stood up against that, and he has proved his leadership qualities. Bardoli Satyagraha is a very important example, and you must know it was Bardoli Satyagraha, after which the ladies, the women of that region, for what he has done for the farmers and the poor of Bardoli area, the women actually gave him the title Sardar. Then he has become Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. So you must know this important fact. And Sardar Patel, when it comes to his political ideology, he was very much inclined towards Gandhian politics. He truly believed in the non-violence approach. He was great admirer of, when it comes to discipline, moral strength. He really meant all that. He practiced everything in his real life. And we all know he has actively participated, and he contributed his everything towards the nation building. And anytime there is any kind of movement, he always stood for. Very interestingly, when you talk about Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, you must not ignore his views on secularism. Well, he was that great leader who believed in trust for each other. When it comes to Hindu-Muslim unity, he was very much into promoting Hindu-Muslim unity. A few political parties may project him as a Hindu leader or something. Let me tell you something very interesting from his life. It was 1931 Karachi session. Very famous speech that Sardar Patel had given in that particular moment. He said, this is something worth listening, guys. In his 1931 speech, Karachi session, he said, I am a Hindu, and as a Hindu, I will give you the Swadeshi fountain pen. I will give it to my Muslim fellow Indian. And as a Muslim, you can write your request on that paper, give it to me, and I will accept your request without question, without any revision. He always said, if you want to make India great, India can be only be made great when it has a secular fabric. He was great admirer of secularism. He always said, the nation, if you want to build India as a strong nation, Hindu Muslims, they must maintain trust, and they must have equality, respect for each other, and that's what he said. Now, very interestingly, Sardar Patel was very much right when it comes to his views on China. Now, this is something interesting. Sardar Patel, he way back in 1950s, almost 12 years before actually China attacked India in 1962. 12 years before, it was November 1950s, he predicted the real motives of China. About China, the way he predicted, the way China is going to behave on Tibet, the way China is going to be aggressive, all his predictions about China were absolutely correct. It was a blunder on others leaders' part, but he has literally, if leaders would have followed his approach, probably the things would have been different. We never ever had that 1962 Indo-China war. Now, very lastly, just to conclude my video, you must know about Sardar Patel's vision on his civil services, because he is known as the patron saint of Indian civil services, all India civil services. So he was when he established the contemporary All India services. So he had a vision about how bureaucracy in India should grow. And this is something we should learn. All the UPSC aspirants, you must remember the three values, the three important pillars of his vision of civil services in India. He always said, civil servants of India, they must adapt themselves. It should not be a rigid position. The bureaucrats, the civil servants, they must adapt themselves in the most democratic ways of administration. They should not feel that they are privileged enough and all, because this is democracy, and for the betterment of democracy, they must adapt in the best possible manner. Second thing he wanted civil servants to do, he always wanted civil servants to treat the common man with full respect and with full empathy, which is very important in bureaucracy, because if you literally translate the meaning of civil servant, that is Naukar Shah. So he always maintained that, as a civil servant, you should not consider yourself as one class up. If you are a civil servant, you should always treat the common man, feel their pain, and treat them as your fellow Indian and fellow countrymen, your brother and sister. And then you have to step into their shoes, and then you have to really be humble towards the common man, because you ultimately, as a bureaucrat, you can actually ease their life. And third, very interesting thing he always maintained, he always said, bureaucracy without discipline is probably the most dangerous thing to have in a country. He always said the civil servants must be disciplined, committed, transparent, and by default they should have high ethical values. So this was a small video on Sardar Patel. I'm sure we have a lot to know, we have a lot to discuss, but whatever I have mentioned in today's video, that will be important for you to write good answer in GS paper 4, and I'll try to make more such videos, and I'm sure you will get to know a lot about other moral philosophers and thinkers as well. If you like this video, do let me know in the comment section box. If you are new to the channel, do subscribe. Thank you so much. God bless you. Jai Hind.